You know, one thing that you notice as you get older is time seems to pass more quickly. Now, of course, time is the same, but it depends on where you're at in your life as to how you view time. For instance, when I was a young boy in elementary school, it seemed like sitting in class lasted forever. I would just stare at the clock, waiting for the hands to move. But then as you get older, months go by more quickly, years go by more quickly, even decades go by more quickly. And now as I look at my life, I have more behind me than I have in front of me, and I have been described as middle-aged. However, I don't know about that because I wouldn't feel bad about being called middle-aged if I knew a few more people over the age of 100. I mean, middle age seems like it would more realistically be somewhere in your mid-30s than where I'm at now in my 40s. No, in my 50s. But youth is when you're allowed to stay up late on New Year's Eve. Middle age is when you're forced to, you know. Middle age is when you know all of the answers and no one ever asks you the questions. Yeah, time passes by quickly. And then the funny thing is my generation, the architects of youth culture, are now officially entering retirement age. I read an article the other day that said that the baby boom generation now is at retirement age, and 7,000 of these boomers are turning 65 each day. Many believe this is going to bankrupt Social Security and Medicare. Now, the irony is this is the original youth culture. You know, it was the baby boomers that effectively introduced rock and roll to the world. The generation that gave us the Rolling Stones and other symbols of rebellion has now gone from sex, drugs, and rock and roll to nip, tuck, and Botox. We've gone from acid rock to acid reflux. Of course, some people are in denial about this, and they want to appear to be younger than they really are. Nothing is sadder than a person who shops at Forever 21 when they're 66. You know, so they think, oh, I'll do cosmetic surgery and everyone will think I'm younger. I really don't know if that ever works, to be quite honest with you. I'm not against it. If you want to get it, that's fine. But I don't think it really makes anyone look younger. It just makes them look different. That's all. Okay? And sometimes you look at some people and you think internally, did you want to look this way? And some maybe don't want to make that leap toward cosmetic surgery, so they just get a bunch of Botox. And the problem with Botox is your expressions disappear. You're supposed to have lines in your face. So a person who's had too much Botox has to tell you how they're feeling in a given moment. You know, I'm really mad at you right now, but I can't move my face. So I'm telling you, I'm mad with a Botox face. Oh wait, I'm really happy now. But I can't smile. My face is frozen. So how many of you have had Botox, right? No. I didn't think you'd raise your hand. You know, everyone wants to figure out how to prolong their life, how to live longer and so forth. But here's the thing that we need to realize. God has an appointed day for our birth and also for our death. In fact, we're told in Scripture, Job 14:15, you have decided the length of our lives. You know how many months we will live when we're not given a minute longer. Hebrews 9:27 says, it's appointed unto a man once to die, and after this comes the judgment. And then Psalm 39:4 says, Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered and my life is fleeing away. So I have a question for you. Let's say your doctor called you in tomorrow morning and said, we have just done tests on you after your last physical, and we have to tell you, you have only 1 year to live. This is your last year on planet Earth. Now, if this were the situation, how would you live your life? Would you live it any differently? Irma Bombeck was a columnist for many years. She has since passed on, but when she found out from her doctor she only had a year to live, she wrote a column with the title, If I Had My Life to Live Over. And here's what she said, and I quote from her column, if I had my life to live over, I would have talked less and listened more. I would have invited friends over to dinner, even if the carpet was stained and the sofa faded. I would have taken the time to listen to my grandfather ramble about his youth. If I had my life to live over, I would have sat on the lawn with my children and not worried about grass stains. I would have cried and laughed less while watching television and more while watching life. If I had my life to live over, when my kids kissed me impetuously, I would have never said, "No, hurry, go get washed up for dinner." But mostly, if given another shot at life, I would seize every minute, look at it and really see it, live it and never give it back, and I would stop sweating the small stuff. Don't worry about who doesn't like you or who has more or who's doing what. Indeed, let's cherish the relationships we have with those who love us. I thought that was very well written. You know, when life comes to an end, certain things become more important to you that frankly should have been important all along. And those three things seem to be faith, family, and friends. The first thing a person becomes aware of if they're on their deathbed or they know that the end is there is their faith, either how important it is to them or their lack thereof. Those that are strong believers become stronger in their faith, it seems, under such circumstances. And those that aren't walking with God are aware of the fact that they need to do something about that. And then there's family. You're very aware of the fact that you might be estranged from members of your family, and hopefully that's something you'll want to make right. And then, of course, there are friends. Billy Graham was recently interviewed by Greta Van Susteren, and he hasn't done an interview in many years now, and he was asked the question, if he could live his life over, what would he change? And here was his response, and I quote, "I would study more, I would pray more, I would travel less and take less speaking engagements. If I had it to do over, I'd spend more time in meditation and prayer and just telling the Lord how much I love him and adore him, and I'm looking forward to the time when we're going to spend eternity together." I thought that was well said.